Influence 2.
This is BleachBANGS Music, and we are sitting in with Darren Michael Boyd. And what's going on, brother?
It's just like I said, hanging in there.
Hanging in there, talking about the weather.
Talking about the weather. That's what we do in Canada.
Can you tell me a little bit about yourself? Of course, we know you're from Canada. And what inspired you to pick up an instrument for the first time? Because you're multifaceted. You play guitar, you play drums, you play bass, you play everything. What was it that got you started?
Well, I think guitar is sort of my first language as a musician. I just gravitated towards the instrument. I took drum lessons when I was a kid because I was into, Kiss and Alice Cooper and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I remember just bashing these like pots and pans out in the lawn when I was, 7 or 8 or something. And my dad's like, all right, if you're going to do this, you think you're Peter Criss, we're going to get you some drum lessons, right? So I took lessons for a few years. But my older brother was always playing guitar, and I thought it was funny that, I'd always kind of sneak in when he wasn't around and take the guitar out and flunk around, so nobody was really teaching me. I was just sort of learning myself. And then when I'd start jamming with friends, and I'm playing drums, and somebody else would be playing guitar, I'd be like, that's not how I would play it. And that is, like, such a guitar player.
That's cool.
So I'm like, okay, and I just sort of gravitated that way. I stopped playing drums, but it was all a means to an end because I just always wanted to write songs. Mm-hmm. And, so that's kind of how it went. I mean, I can still play drums a little, but, a lot of that is fixed in my mixes and my editing. Because
I gotcha.
Yeah, if anybody wanted me to be the drummer in their band, I probably don't want to be in their band. I'll stick the guitar.
Right. Well, you do it very well. I mean, it's just I was going through some of your YouTube videos. It's freaking amazing, and it's pretty heavy. I mean, you got some heavy stuff. You said Kiss influenced you. I feel so much more influence.
Oh yeah,
coming. Not saying Kiss isn't relevant right now.
No,
they are out on tour right now.
but they are like a heritage act. Like they're doing nostalgia, right? They're not really doing anything new. And that's no disrespect for Kiss or Alice Cooper. Well, Alice still puts out new music.
Yeah,
and I like the new stuff. So. I might surprise you because I am a big fan of. I hesitate to use the word pop because when you say pop music, we tend to think of almost electronic music nowadays. Uh-huh. But I don't really mean that. I mean pop from like when there were artists on the radio that had guitars.
Right.
I can't. I always think of Canadian acts that you probably haven't even heard of. But let's see. Even the Go-Go's, for example. I know it probably sounds weird, but great songwriters. The songs.
I'm thinking like Bryan Adams and stuff like that. That's where I'm going.
Songwriting. There's a songwriting lesson right there for sure. Bryan Adams is brilliant. Yeah. And it's hard to deny that. I mean, I liked Bryan when he was more of a rocker. I wasn't. A lot of the big ballads that really broke him kind of internationally didn't appeal to me as much. And It's not that I don't like ballads. I liked his rocker stuff,
Right.
But so I listen to so many different kinds of music, and I think it all kind of seeps in. It influences you. Everything does. And music isn't just created in a vacuum, right, where you don't have any external inspiration. You have to draw from somewhere, even if it's life or movies or anything. I always joke that this album is kind of a concept and autobiographical tell-all, and there are no words, so it's like, how does that even work?
Right.
But it does have a bit of a conceptual feel anyway.
I totally agree. I agree, and everything is really. I hate to say relevant, but I mean, it's not like you're not like a 80s hair metal guy that this is what I do, that I play 80s rock on my guitar. This is like pretty intense and pretty really, this is what you're going to hear on Sirius XM Octane. It really
Yeah,
is.
yeah. Well, that's cool. I mean, and it's true because there are not a lot of, it's not a shred fest by any means.
No.
It's all about the songs. I mean, there's a little bit of guitar wankery going on, but I mean, for the most part, it's about the songs. Some of that was almost by accident because really, like you said, I was doing the bass and drums and mixing and producing and doing all
Right.
the other stuff. Oh, I need keyboards. I don't know how to play. I'll figure it out. So I'm doing all this stuff. And as a result, the guitar, because it was just sort of second nature, I didn't put as much, I don't want to say effort, but I mean, I didn't have the time or the focus to go, I'm going to really go crazy and do some really technical
Mm-hmm.
guitar stuff. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
about that, and I even forgot what I was doing sometimes. There was a sour note when I was doing a mix down, and I went, there are, I'm sure there are plenty of questionable notes all over it, but there was one note that I'm like, that bend is just flat. So I grabbed my guitar and I'm like, I just got to redo that. And I couldn't remember how to play the part. I was like mixing it down. By then I forgot what I was like.
Wow.
Yeah, but I'm sure that's not this probably happens a lot.
Yeah.
A band records stuff and then they have to relearn it when they go out on tour.
Right, right. Yeah, they got to listen to the actual recording to just relearn the whole thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So, what was it like to be with the musical theater production of We Will Rock You?
Oh well, it was such a great experience because, for one thing, I've never played with a cast like that where there are probably about 60 people involved in the whole thing.
Uh-huh.
From behind the scenes to on stage talent, and I've never played with a
That's
conductor.
huge. That's huge.
And and I mean, it wasn't. This is still amateur theater, really. It wasn't like a touring outfit or anything.
Uh-huh.
But it was very well done, very professional. It was sold out every night, and and learning all the Queen stuff was great because I I love Queen and Brian May.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing was a huge challenge, and all of Queen, all the guys are songwriters, and so each song had different styles to it. So I got a bit of a workout there having to.
Too cool.
And also getting sheet music plopped in front of me was, I'm your typical guitar player.
Oh, can I have this in tab, please?
Yeah. Well, I just spent really months just listening to the cast recording and the actual, like the cast recording of the London version, and also listening to the Queen songs. And sometimes the keys were changed. The arrangements were always changed, and which is fine, but I learned that way more. I surprised myself. I think I knew how to read a little better than I thought. I remembered more than I thought, but I hadn't. It's a muscle I haven't been exercising in a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I wish I did. I think, it's not over yet. I'm going to continue to learn more theory and go back and try to learn more sight reading for sure.
Right. Well, that being said, when I was watching the videos and just the names of your songs as well, I was like, this guy has done some theory. You've been there somewhere, and because you don't work in fifths and that type of thing, and unless you really kind of know what you're doing, and it's just kind of like, I was like, I've really got to ask him how. Was it a musical family that he came from? You just felt a lot more polished than just, I just picked it up and just started winging it. I was like, this guy's got some theory under his belt.
Yeah, a little. I mean, I spend a lot of time listening to music, I guess, really. Those are my teachers in a way. One of the reasons I didn't want to put out an instrumental release for years, one, I just got too busy with other projects, and I like writing songs with lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
but I also thought, man, people are going to hear it and they're going to go, well, he's no Steve Vai, or he's no John Five or whatever.
Right.
And it's like, well, duh, right? These guys were hatched with like string imprints on their fingers, right? These are the gods. Those are the guitar gods. I'm not Paul Gilbert, but I don't have to be. It's like I think this album and my style fits into the landscape in a kind of a different place. And I don't know. I'm probably not answering your question, but
no, you're fine. You're absolutely fine.
Yeah, it's just so I kind of felt like musicians have this thing. I think a lot of people do, but artists in general are this perfectionism thing, right? Oh, I'm not putting it out until it's perfect, and it's kind of really hiding behind the fact that we're afraid we're going to put it out and people are going to, make fun of you or they're going to ignore you or whatever that happens. And in a way, that's kind of depressing, but another way, it's liberating because put it out and who cares,
Yeah.
You have to care. You have to know that you're proud of it, but it's never going to be perfect. I'm sure the Beatles have lots of music out that they would go, well, we would have done that different, but, and I'm not comparing myself to the Beatles. I'm just saying,
Right.
It's never perfect. And if it is perfect, then it's not human. And what's the point? Right?
And that's a really good point. I was kind of wondering, since you did the production of this, how did you know when you were actually done? Did you ever just go, okay, I'm freaking done. I'm gonna hit done, and because with me that would just eat me up every day. Oh, I could have this. And then it would just never ever be freaking done. In a studio, you've got a producer that says done, but with yourself, if you're self producing, you're just kind of like, I've got to tell myself this is it.
Yeah, and you're right. I had to exercise a lot of self discipline. I set a date, like I literally did, and I said, these things are going to happen. These videos will be released. And I mean, again, we're humans, right? So you have to forgive yourself if you go, you know what, I don't want to work on this for 3 days. I'm, burned out. I got other things to do. Life happens.
Right.
So you have to allow for that time too. But I basically said the fall. And I even had one more song that was even mastered. I paid to have it mastered. It was done, but I went, you know what? This is not up to the standard of the rest of the songs. I don't need the 10th song as much as I wanted it, just for the numbers.
Right.
So why would I drag it down to something I'm just not happy with? So yeah, I had to look at it like again, wearing all the hats. I had to also look at it from a professional standpoint that it has to be done by a certain time. And, I would work sometimes late at night or whatever I had to do to keep it on schedule. But it wasn't like, oh, this sucks, this is a chore. I mean, there were those days, but for the most part, I loved every second of it. It's being creative.
Right. That's cool. I just know I would yeah. I was just like, I could never stop myself. I'd be like, oh, whoa, I thought of something else. Oh my gosh.
And there were those moments. There were those moments where I'm sure you can tell. I listen to this still. I go to the gym and I listen to my own music because I find it pretty good gym music.
Oh, that's cool.
But I still hear things. I mean, I recorded it. I know what's there, but I still hear from different perspectives sometimes where I go, yeah, there's some attention to detail in places. So, and that's the idea. I wanted it to be pretty simple. None of the songs are very long. And that was, it was kind of intentional, but at the same time, it was natural too.
Right.
Because I'm used to writing songs like that. I didn't really want to go, okay, I have to push myself to write some 11-minute song or something because it's instrumentalized. Why would I do that?
Yeah.
Not that I'm against that, but if it doesn't feel right, why push that? But yeah, there are lots of times I kind of went, I can add one more thing, or I can do something else. And in fact, that even happened with, and I think this is what you're talking about, some of the songs that I recorded at the beginning, later on when I was mixing and I found better sounds or some different ideas, I kind of go back to the old ones and polish them up a bit and Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
But
So,
and I feel that, sorry, go ahead.
no, 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 you.
Oh well, I was going to say I feel like, and I know this might sound weird, but I kind of feel like it's a special recording. I don't know, and I don't want to sound like I'm. You just kind of know like that, and not everybody has to agree with me, obviously, but I'm really happy with the way it turned out. It's not necessarily my bat out of hell or my my masterpiece, but I do feel that there's something.
Wow, I
Uh,
do. I when I was listening to it, I was just like, "Holy crap!" I was trying to plug you in. I was thinking of all these questions when I was watching it. Actually, I was just like, "Okay, he's got theory. He's got, it is just and just like you said, your songs aren't for being instrumental. They're not really long, so it's kind of digestible." And I'm
yeah,
like,
well, that's the
oh
idea,
yeah, I
and
can get on to the next one now. Yeah, cool.
yeah, yeah,
This isn't 8 minutes, 12 minutes, anything like that. It's just like where I would have actually started listening to it and then just went to the next song just to try to
yeah,
get a good feel of everything that was there, and I may have missed something in the first song. But
yeah. And I don't want to ever underestimate the listener. A lot of people tend to do that. Say, well, we have no attention span anymore, and that, and to an extent, we're pretty distracted for sure.
I agree.
Um, it's hard to get people to just click on a video if you post it, but or a song. And I thought the very first thing I did was I recorded a song called "This Song Won't Get Played on the Radio," and it was just the whole thing. I thought, well, this is going to be a goofy, fun, sort of dark B-52s thing, it's just weird. And I was doing it for no other reason than for myself. And so I recorded it, but I also knew while I was doing that I was going to shoot a video and I was going to do everything myself. And so I learned how to edit it. I mean, it's pretty bad, but it's also really entertaining, I think. So I'm like using a girl that, because, dancing girl, nobody wants to watch me for 3 minutes. So I put a girl and a toad and a snake and some stuff. And I storyboarded the whole thing and shot this over, I think it was 2 days, and the budget of like $9 or something, and
And that
the
was
whole point was,
my Monster
yeah,
Energy drink.
yeah, exactly. And the whole reason I did that video was because I knew I'm like, nobody is going to listen to this song. They might listen to it for, I don't know, 10 seconds and then click it off. So I thought, if I make this video, people are at least going to listen to the song because they're going to watch this totally irresponsible nonsense that I created. And I was right.
That's
People
good.
actually did.
That's
I mean,
really
not
cool.
everybody. Yeah, not everybody, but I mean, a lot of people did. And yeah, so that's all the videos were kind of shot with the same budget in the same way. And it's supposed to be, I think anybody who watches it can tell that I'm not taking myself too seriously.
Right?
There.
Yeah, that's cool. The same theory of don't look in this hole. Don't put your finger in this.
Yeah.
Well, I've got to now.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah. And then I'm working on another video. So, and of course another album because this one. Really because it was such a good experience, I figure, you know what, I'm going to do another one. And another video will be, I don't want to give you a date because I'll probably be wrong. But I'm shooting for, April. I'm hoping that'll have another video out.
Oh, cool. Cool, good. That's another one of my questions. What are your goals for 2020 musically? And are there any collaboration plans, tour plans, or continuing to write?
Oh, I'm always open to writing, with other artists or for other artists, of course. I would love some of this music to be, placed in soundtracks or movies.
That's where I see you too. That's exactly where I was like, gosh, I wish he could get on some soundtracks and some movie stuff because I mean that is like I really liked what I saw because I was thinking, oh, this is gonna be an '80s guitarist, blah blah blah. But when I saw it, you're very relevant. Very, very relevant today. I mean, the music that I saw, the guitar playing that I saw, can go in anything happening today. In the movies, in series, in just anything. I was like, he
Really be in
needs.
some horror movies.
Well, yeah, horror movies. That would be so cool. Be like Ice Nine Kills. Have you heard them?
Yeah, that would make my life. I'd be happy with that.
So
But I'm
that's kind
hoping
of
I
what I was
definitely want
thinking.
to. Yeah, and so that would be a nice goal. I mean, working on it, but of course, sometimes it's difficult to get into these things. But this kind of thing helps. So I really appreciate it because if the right person's listening, you never know where that'll go. So
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
exposure is fantastic. I'll make another video pretty soon, working on the next album, and I'm going to try to do the same schedule as I did, where I'm working on it in the summer for a fall release.
Mm-hmm.
That's the plan. I would love to do more live performance, and still talking to some buddies and trying to see if we can, because I don't want to do an average show.
Right.
we did one show where we did just, I mean, it was a 25-minute thing, and we just slapped it together for rehearsals just because we had an opportunity. But if I'm going to go out and promote it and actually, promote this album, because this was before the CD was even released, if I'm going to do that, I want to do a proper, tight, prepared show. So I can't make any promises on that, but I would love to get out on the road or at least get some live gigs happening.
Cool. That's awesome. Thank you so very much, Darren. It's been a pleasure, and you're very intriguing. And I really, really hope your 2020 really comes in kicking some ass.
Oh, thank you. Oh, same to you.
Thank you so much, and I will talk to you later.